understand by testing in general and then software testing basically. So just testing in general, and then what is software testing?
Generally, testing is nothing but whatever you are taking general example like daily life. So whatever we are doing mistake are nothing but the defect in software.
Mhm.
So in general, we are making mistakes. So we are testing ourselves to test and avoid that mistake in future. This
Mhm.
is nothing but a general testing. But in software, we have to find that mistake in coding
Mhm.
or in whatever it is, document or anything. And after that, we have to check that application, is it running well or not? And this process is nothing but a software testing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So in general, you can take any example from any sphere of life. So for example, COVID pandemic was there, right? They were testing all the samples. So what were they doing? They were getting the samples and then they were trying to identify whether the virus is there in the particular sample or not. So they were doing some sort of testing there, which is laboratory testing of the sample. And then there is a testing of the hardware. There is testing of different hardware, different electronic devices. So whenever you perform some steps on a particular hardware or software to identify whether the quality is good, whether there are no defects as such. When you plug on the TV, it turns on or not. When you change the channel, it works or not. So that sort of things when you perform, when the product is not out of the market, that's what usually general testing is. And then, as you said, software testing is basically when you perform similar sort of things for a software. Great. Okay. What is SRS, software requirement
Uh,
specification?
yeah, SRS is a requirement which is we are gathering from client. Whatever he wants to in his application, he is just telling us, and we are preparing. We are means the business analyst who is preparing the SRS document. He is clearly mentioning the exact what client wants. So SRS is nothing but that document where we are having the each and every detailed document of what client wants.
Absolutely, yes. So basically, if I want to make something, I will, and I'm the customer, I explain or I basically articulate to the business analyst or product owner, whosoever is managing that application or the development of that. So I explain them and you document that requirement, what exactly I want from that application. So for example, I want to build a website and it's a tutorials website. So I'll articulate, I need to have ability to post the courses, post the blog, etc. Right. So absolutely correct. Good. So what is test scenarios?
Test scenarios are nothing but planning of whatever the requirements are.
Mhm.
So test scenarios come after the test planning.
Mhm.
Whatever the requirement of clients we have, we are
Mhm.
gathering in a well mannered. That
Yeah,
is nothing but a test planning. And in that planning, we are making some test scenarios are there where the one or more test cases are there. So
Mhm.
each and every requirement, individual requirement is nothing but test cases,
Mhm.
and the package of whole test cases are nothing but test scenarios.
You are a bit confused there, Priya. So I think when we say requirement, you are clear. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then when we say test scenarios is when you actually start your designing phase. So you have the requirements. From the requirements, say for example, I said I want to build a website wherein course posting facility should be there. So course posting is one of the high level requirements. So what all scenarios or test scenarios, high level scenarios you can think of to test that functionality? That's when you document that high level one liner sort of things or scenarios. That's what scenarios is. And then test cases is an elaborated step by step form of how you are going to test. So test scenario is what you are going to test, and test cases is how you are going to test
How you
basically.
are going.
Right. So that correlation, so requirements, and then you do planning, and then you write the scenarios, basically high level. Say for example, I should have the ability to post the course, upload the video. Okay, so all of these high level scenarios. And then when you say upload the video, so you will be having some steps: click on this button, select the file, and then click on upload button. So when you elaborate this, that's what test cases. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, what is the difference between both of these?
Basically, SDLC contain the whole testing process, whole software development process.
Mhm.
And in STLC, it is particularly for testing purpose. So STLC is a part of SDLC.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are phases in SDLC. Like in first, we are gathering requirement from clients. Second one is designing. Third one is development of that application. and after that testing of that application and maintenance. In STLC, we are checking for that only testing purpose. So requirements we are collecting. After that, we are creating the test plan, and after that, test cases are prepared. Test execution will be there, and at the last, we are checking the application in STL.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. So basically, you have different sort of phases. Even if you don't go into detailed phases, but high level, whatever you have explained is all good. STLC is basically within the SDLC, you have that overall when you manage the testing within the development, that's STLC. All right. You have also mentioned about the defect life cycle. So what do you understand by defect life cycle?
So defect life cycle is about totally for defect. So when we are find any defect in whatever the test cases we are getting, that time that defect should be gone through some cycle. Like first it should be a defect, so we have to mention that defect as a new. After that it will come to in progress. After that it will come to the open, and we are in progress. I think in progress it should be there. So that defect should be in progress when developer are working on it to resolve that defect. And after that, once it resolved, it comes to tester and it shows that once we check the defect and it is okay, then we have to close that. That's it. This is nothing but a defect life cycle.
Right. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So basically, whatever process or life cycle a particular defect needs to follow, it's a streamlined process. Because see, if you find a defect and you say you don't have any process to follow, then how will that defect be resolved if it doesn't get assigned, if it doesn't have proper status? Who is going to work on it? Then after fixing it, whom it is going to assign back and what status it will be, right? So that whole process, basically, like when we do some sort of work in general, day-to-day life, we define a little bit of process there, right? So that's good. Yes, great.